The President of United States is now massively attacking India. He has slapped an additional 25% tariff on India as penalty for buying Russian oil. Yes, so now India will face a 50% tariff, and that is in addition to the tariffs that were already there. So 25% tariff come into effect from tonight, and then the additional ones come into effect after 21 days. Now, India is not the only country buying Russian oil. China does it too, and it gets away with a 90-day tariff exemption conveniently. When Trump was asked about this, he said this.
Please. Indian officials have said that there are other countries that are buying Russian oil.
It's okay.
Like China, for instance,
It's
buys
okay.
more.
Yeah.
Why are you singling India out for these additional sanctions?
It's only been 8 hours, so let's see what happens over the next.
Sanctions
you're going to see a lot more.
So this is a taste of
You're going to see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions.
Makes sense. Sanction everyone who buys from Russia. So what about the US, the EU? Earlier this week, when Trump imposed 25% tariff on India, India issued a statement. The statement called out on hypocrisy of the West. It said that the EU buys large amounts of energy from Russia, LNG purchases hitting record highs, and the US too buys palladium and other minerals from the country. But obviously Trump doesn't know about this stuff. Listen to what he said.
India says that the US imports Russian uranium, chemicals, fertilizers, while criticizing their energy imports. Your response to that, sir?
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check, but we'll get back to you on that.
This was the President of the United States who says that he does not know where minerals come from to his country, and he talks about trade and tariffs. So let's give him the numbers. According to the US International Trade Commission, American imports from Russia totaled approximately at $3 billion in 2024, down from $36 billion in 2021. But the trade is still on. In 2024, fertilizers worth $1.1 billion, palladium worth $878 million, uranium worth $624 million, and aircraft engine parts worth $75 million came into US from Russia. In services, US imports were at $384 million and exports were at $1.3 billion. In fact, from January to May 2025, US imports from Russia grew 23% year on year to reach $2.1 billion. Palladium imports up 37%, uranium up 28%, and fertilizers up 21%. But you don't know, Trump might call this data rigged and fire the top officials at the Trade Commission. Sadly, it does not work like that. So what was India's response? India called these actions unfair, unjust, and unreasonable. It said that India will take all actions necessary to protect its national interests, and that it is unfortunate that US chose to impose these tariffs on India while other countries are freely trading with Russia. Prime Minister Modi also said that he would not back down. He said India will never compromise on interests of farmers, fishermen, and dairy farmers, and that India is ready for it if US wants to go that way.
हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं।
Now, we know that tariffs will make Indian goods more expensive in the US and the US customers will bear the brunt. But India will be hit too. It is a two-way hit. First, let's talk about the sectors that will be hit. As per the industry experts, the move will severely impact domestic export sectors. The India and US bilateral trade stands at $131.8 billion. Sectors with highest exposure include textiles trade worth $10.3 billion, gems and jewelry worth $12 billion, shrimp worth $2.2 billion, leather and footwear worth $1.18 billion, chemicals $2.34 billion, and electrical and machinery worth about $9 billion. GTRI report says that tariffs are expected to cut US-bound exports from India by 40 to 50%. The Confederation of Indian Textile Industry and Exporters of Shrimp say that this is deeply concerning. Products facing higher duties include organic chemicals facing 54% tariffs, knitted apparels facing 63.9%, woven apparel 60.3%, carpets 52.9%, textiles and made-ups 59%, gems and jewelry 52.1%, machinery 51.3%, and furniture 52.3%. These will pay higher tariffs. Indian exporters may face 30 to 35% disadvantage over global competitors, as India is now one of the highest tariffed nations. MSMEs will be hit hardest and might not be able to absorb the cost rise. But conveniently, Trump has exempted tariffs on things that US needs. Shipments worth around $30 billion are safe, covering pharma and some electronics like smartphones, semiconductors, and energy. Yes, energy. So ironically, India's petroleum exports, the crude that comes from Russia and India refines it here and sells to the US, are safe from these tariffs. Trump has been fuming at India for being the tariff king, but the reality is different. India's simple average tariff is 16%. Comprising levies both from agriculture and non-agriculture exports and imports, same as Bangladesh, Turkey, and Argentina, and weighted tariff is only 4.6%. So the tariff game is all about politics and convenience and has not much to do with trade deficit, is what it's looking like. So what should India do now? Industrialist Anand Mahindra has an answer to turn this into an opportunity. In a post, he laid out 2 ways India can turn today's manthan over tariffs into Amrit for India. He said India must focus on improving ease of doing business. India must do beyond slow and small reforms and create true single window system for all investment clearances. India must offer speed, simplicity, and predictability to become a trusted and attractive location for global investors, he said. Second, he said tourism is an area with untapped potential and India must facilitate faster visa processing, better facilities for tourists, and create dedicated tourism corridors. Along with this, there were some other suggestions like supporting MSMEs, speeding infrastructure projects up, pushing for manufacturing using PLI, reducing import duties on manufacturing inputs, and more. And on Russia ties, India has said that its relations are steady and time tested with Moscow. In fact, NSA Ajit Doval is now in Moscow to discuss defense and oil trade. S. Jaishankar will be visiting Russia as all these meetings were scheduled already. And reports suggest that Russian President Putin will also be visiting India later in the year. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi will be in China for the SSO summit for the first time in 7 years, and the timing is crucial. Trump has now initiated China-like attack on India, and chances are Modi and Xi will talk on the sidelines of the summit and tariff situation will be discussed. India is cracking deals with other countries to diversify its exports, like the president of Philippines was here in India this week to talk trade and defense exports from India. Reports suggest that Modi might also visit Japan before going to China. So the timing here is really crucial, and India can either blink or turn this into an opportunity like it always does. For more such news and views, keep watching ET Now.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.